Hello, my name is Mark McCormack, and this conversation is sponsored by Traveller Pride Week. It is done in conjunction with our friends at Athlone Family Resource Centre, and my guest is Joe Ward. Joe, welcome.
Thank you for having me on.
Joe, thanks for coming on. I know you're busy, but it's great you're here to help shine a light on Traveller Pride Week, so thank you for that. I suppose, if anyone doesn't know, Traveller Pride Week it's an amazing chance to highlight traveller achievements and successes in a range of different areas like sport and culture and education and enterprise and youth. Today, we're going to be talking about sport in particular, and obviously that I've Joe here, we're going to be talking about boxing. So I suppose, when did you get into boxing? Was it at an early age? What age were you when you started to box in the first place?
Yeah, I started boxing in a boxing club in Moat when I was about 7, 8 years old, when I first walked through the doors of the boxing club. I had family members who was in the club, uncles, cousins, who was all there competing at that time. And I just walked into the club and I felt like something special. I mean, something was there different than it was when I used to walk into a GAA pitch or other sports. Just felt like there was something different. The feeling was different for me, and I just, as a young kid, you just go in, you enjoy it, you mess around, and but as the years went on, I started to get obvious more focus, and I started listening to the voices around me, saying like that this guy can be really good if he puts his mind to it, like, and be really commits to it. This guy can go a long way into boxing, and I think that's what really sunk in then when I hit to around 11 or 12 when I started winning my first Irish title when I was 11 years old. Then I started to realise, like, look, I'm good at this, and I can really have a push on, and really focus on what I'm doing, and try to learn as much as I can when I'm in the gym. I could achieve something out of this, like, and over the years I got better and better, and I had a very successful boxing career so far.
Well, I have a bit of a list here to read out, and I will do in a minute. I don't want to embarrass you, but it's slightly better than it's a who's who in not in Irish boxing, in world boxing of amateur titles. But what age were you when you had your first amateur fight?
I was 11 years old. So in Ireland, you can't compete until you're 11. So that would be classed as a by one title. So I won my first by one title when I was 11 years old, and I went on to win 15 more Irish titles after that, and I've never been beaten in home side in Ireland in any competition, Irish, internationals, any tournament that I ever entered in Ireland, I never lost.
Well, that's some accomplishment, because there's so many good boxers in Ireland, and I will, in terms of an amateur career, and I haven't looked. You won gold medal in 2011, 2015, and 2017 European Championships. You weren't satisfied with that. You won silver medal in 2015, 2017 World Championship, and bronze, I think, in 2013, which also represented Ireland in the 2016 Olympic Games. That's some CV to have.
Yeah, look at it. It's a great CV, obvious, and I was just fierce and fortunate to meet such a great Cuban fighter who went on to win, the same guy who beat me in the 3 world finals, or the 2 world finals and the world semi-final. That guy went on to win 6 world titles and 2 Olympic gold medals. So it's I probably met one of the greatest Cubans ever in them competitions that knocked me out. I'm like, I mean, so without that guy probably in my weight, I probably would have won 3 world gold medals, like, to me, along with me 3 European gold medals. But the margins are very small, and look at it, I'm grateful for what I've achieved in the amateur game, and I'm grateful for the opportunities I was given from the national team and from the club coaches who support me, and obviously my family. As coming from a traveller community, it's always going to be a little bit of a battle getting the breakthroughs. But lucky enough, boxing is a kind of a sport that most travellers become successful, and they begin with a kind of fair crack at the whip, and I was lucky enough to be one of them who was given a fair crack at the whip to go on to represent my country and be successful.
Yeah, that's like, no matter what way you slice it, the cream always rises to the top. It's just, you know what amazes me, Joe, is that when I speak to any sports person or hear a sports person talking on the TV, whether it be any sport, it's the dedication over years and years and years. Like, it's not a 2-year dedication, it's a lifetime dedication to your craft. And I know you're still on the journey, and we'll talk about the pros in a minute, but Where do you get that motivation to keep going? Is it because you have so much support from the traveling community and further afield, or is it because it's just born inside you to want to win?
I'd say it's a little bit of both. Like, to me, obviously you got to have it inside you as number one. You got to want to do it from yourself, like, to me. But also too, you need the support. I need the support of good people behind you, who's pushing you, who wants you to be successful the same way you want to be successful. And the most important thing I think personally myself is about keeping a good level head, keeping focus, listening, working hard, and just being around the right people. I mean, it's all about being around the right people to give you them breakthroughs. And if you're in the gym or whatever sport you're doing, if you're working hard and you're committed to it, and you will get your breakthrough. You will get it. It's just about being dedicated and staying focused. And as I said, being around the right people. That's very important.
It when the amateur career, when you finished and you moved to professional, like your first professional fight was on the undercard of the Golovkin fight in Madison Square Garden. Like, was that immense pressure? Were you nervous? Obviously, you're preparing. You're a confident man. You're a world class fighter. That's undebatable. But surely you would have some sort of nerves, would you?
Yeah, look at it. Every fight you go into, obviously you have a certain amount of nerves, but sometimes they either work in your favor or go against you. It all depends how you can control them, how and most of the time is how your preparation really went, how you lead up to the fight and everything going really well regarding in camp and sparring, and so you're kind of going there a little bit nervous, but also you're going there confident and you're able to control the nerves. But for me, I was one of the really lucky ones. Obviously, I had a really good amateur pedigree, so it kind of got me them big options when I turned professional to fight in the big stages regarding MSG making my debut. So I was one of the lucky ones, and obviously fighting under Golovkin undercard was obviously special because we all know how Golovkin, how good he is and what he's went on to achieve as an amateur, but also as a professional. His next fight is against Canelo, so for the trilogy. So yeah, look, it was a special night. Unfortunately, I got injured, which was a massive setback for me and a massive disappointment because expectation is everything. You go in there as a hot favorite. You obviously you want to achieve great things in the program. The same I went on and did in the amateur game, but I got a big setback and kind of knocked me back in a way that mentally I didn't know where I was at that time. Like, I mean, I was getting out of that ring, getting out of that ring and not knowing, like, was this the end of it? Like, was my time up and this was my end, the career coming to an end? I knew I had a successful career as an amateur, but I never thought going into my debut that I'd dislocate my knee in the ring. But lucky enough, I went into had an operation 2 weeks later in New York, and I just basically worked really hard to get myself back on my feet and get myself back to where I am now, where I'm kind of just pushing on nicely and building good momentum.
You're a credit to yourself and your family, really, because like you mentioned, like you had such a good amateur career, and you did mention the word lucky, but you've earned it as well. You had to put in the hours in the training, and you definitely earned that undercard. Like, even when you've done so well, it just goes to show that even the best out there can get injured, no problem at all, and it's still a setback. And then to come back for a second time, then again, and you haven't been beaten since that. You've won every single fight since that.
No, look at it's you, in life in general. You're going to meet challenges ahead of you, and it's obvious there's going to be ups and downs, and there's going to be barriers in front of you. But the most important thing is to reset and go again and focus on what you can do next, and rather than thinking about what was the past or what's gone behind you. Just had to focus on the next day. How can I get better? How can I recover? How can I be a better person? And that's what I kind of have that mindset, is that I just take every day as it comes, but every day is a learning day, and every day I make sure to be a little bit better than I was the previous day. That's the kind of mindset I have when I'm in the gym working hard.
That's a great attitude to have in sports, but it's also a great attitude to have in life. I won't keep you too much longer, but I suppose I'll never be forgiven if I don't ask you what's next on the horizon. When's your next fight?
I'm hoping to fight again in August. So I'm hoping to have maybe 2 or 3 fights by the end of the year. All going well, touch wood. That I escape all fights without any injuries or anything like that. But look at it. I'm just, as I said, the momentum is building up nicely. I'm starting to pop into the rankings now nicely too. So yeah, so hopefully in the next 3 fights, everything goes well, that I'll be ranked nice and high for a big 2023.
Yeah, hopefully. Well, look, everyone's behind you, as you know. And I suppose finally, what advice or I suppose words of wisdom would you give to any young traveler, boy or girl, who rightly so look up to you as a kind of a hero, because they see what you're accomplishing and they think like, maybe if I put in the hard work, I might be able to do something as well.
Yeah, look, I think there's so much talent out there in the traveler community, regarding what sport it is. It's just about keeping the straight and narrow, working hard, listening to the right people, and just staying disciplined. Like I mean, and every day you just go there, work hard, listen, and improve. And there's no shortcuts, but also too, there's no end to what you can achieve. So it's the most important thing is believe in yourself and push yourself, and you will get there eventually. There will be ups and downs, but eventually you will get to where you want to be as long as you put the work in and listen and believe in yourself.
Yeah. Look, that's fantastic advice. It was an absolute pleasure talking to you. I won't keep you any longer. I'll say thanks for coming on. It was much appreciated, and know that the whole country is behind you for the rest of your career.
Cheers. Thanks very much. Thanks for
Cheers,
having
brother.
me on.
All the best. Bye bye.